What's up, my dudes? We are two people with attitudes, gonna teach you about class-based issues. The early humans, where everything started. There were some humans who were outsmarted and had some of their money departed. The workers wanted to work less hours and be treated with more powers. So there was Mechanics Union of Trade Association. It was the first of our unions. Here we go now with the NLU. 'Twas a political movement that sought better conditions for the working crew. They dealt with recruitment and overcame resentment. Moving on, the KOL.
Here's the tale. It all started when the NLU failed. The KOL did prevail. They wanted to replace capitalism. As you can see, it was some symbolism for communism. All right. Now we're going to talk about the AFL. Now they were pretty powerful. We got Samuel Gompers in the house. He was anything but a dormouse. He wanted to combine all the unions in order to assign exclusive jurisdictions. Now ain't that fine? AFL focused on collective bargaining, took lots of arguing between unions, workers, and everything in between. Then we had the Great Depression, which was all sad, but then we got Roosevelt, and he made all us glad.
The world, it's full of wobblies. Started in Chicago in 1905. Didn't like how the AFL excluded the unskilled. Wobblies focused on the mining and lumber work. Now, after labor was killed, means of production was controlled by their workers. When the world went to war, Wobblies wanted the U.S. to back out, so they took some copper out. Didn't work. Some leaders had to be backed out. It's time for the dogs. The yellow contracts prevented employees from joining a union whilst being employed. Happened in the 1920s, allowed employers to take legal action. Unions wanted a refraction. In 1932, government decided that the contracts were of dissatisfaction and the dogs were declared unenforceable acts.
Economic conditions, labor practices, and jurisdictional ambitions. These are just some of the reasons for the striking season. The Haymarket riot in Chicago is the deadliest we will ever know. All about labor protests and earning them some dough. It was a revolution, yo. The Wagner Act, the NLRA, established legal rights, and we know for a fact workers will be joining unions. Then we got Quasi dealing with labor disputes. Employees wanted to give it the boot. In the end, Congress had to deal with some lawsuits.
The labor legislation in the Great Depression, it was a worker calibration related to the NIRA. They wanted to get rid of anti-unionism
and focused on industrial stabilization. NIRA was an activation of labor rights and market inflation. Sadly, the NIRA didn't survive invalidation.
That's it. We're done. This rap was a home run. Now we're gonna go sing with grandson. Bye.